Merry Christmas, everyone. It's your FPL Thinking Cap Benji, and I'm back with the next installment of Best FPL Captain. Last game week, we had Mo Salah in at number 1. He returned 21 points. That's his highest score of the season, and it's also his third highest FPL haul ever. Great to get that haul, but in Game Week 18, there are some really good fixtures for the premiums. Let's see who we're backing on Boxing Day. Thinking Cap activated. So 2 out of 4 green ticks on the rankings, pretty decent. Obviously, I'm really pleased with Mohamed Salah. Wildcard captain is also back, by the way, guys. Isak completed his first Newcastle hat-trick. I know a few of you who did go with Isak, so congratulations if you're one of those people. Palmer outscoring Saka by 2 points, denied me a perfect set of results. I think Saka captainers were a little bit unlucky this week. Arsenal scored 5 goals away to Palace. I mean, if you were a Saka captainer who didn't watch the game and you just checked checked the result after full time, you'd probably be rubbing your hands together seeing 5-1, but yeah, it was a little bit unfortunate to those who did back him, and his injury makes space for Erling Haaland, who rejoins the shortlist for 18 with Everton at home. That fixture is the 12:30 kickoff on Boxing Day, by the way. All of them play on Boxing Day. Palmer and Isak will begin a little bit later at 3 p.m, and then Salah has that 8 o'clock fixture at home to Leicester City, who look like the most targetable fixture on paper, and looking at each team's defensive data, it's pretty evident that that is the case. Leicester have the worst averages in all 5 categories of opponent analysis, and it's not like Leicester's numbers are even close to the other 3 clubs. They're miles off. From a matchups perspective, Salah also gets another big green tick, as Leicester have conceded 85 chances down Mo's flank. Ruud van Nistelrooy has also said in his most recent pre-match press conference that Hermansen is unlikely to be fit in time, which means 31-year-old Ward will be starting in net. I've never seen any Leicester fan say positive things about Ward, only negative that he's trying to get money from the club. He's been there for so long, all this, and he's not a very good goalkeeper, so that factor definitely increases the Salah cap appeal. For me, it's Everton who look to be the strongest defensive unit at the moment. They've kept 5 clean sheets in their last 6 league games. They will be without Ashley Young right back, who's suspended for that game, but I still think that increases City's wingers potential more than Haaland, who will operate centrally. Surprisingly, I do think it's Fulham who are the next best fixture to target, and that's less to do with the stats and more to do with the fact that both of Fulham's defensive midfielders, Burge, Sander Burge, and Lukic are struggling with knock. We also know that Castagne is starting because Tete is injured. I don't think Castagne is better defensively than Tete, and also Issa Diop probably starts over Anderson again. Diop does have a mistake in him, in my opinion. I don't really rate him, and I do believe Fulham are better with Anderson starting, so those 3 factors combined make Fulham the second best fixture to target. It's actually Salah with the least appealing fixture record, 3 blanks from 4 starts at home to Leicester, which does slightly dampen the mood on Salah cap, but some of those games were against much better versions of Leicester, so I'm not too concerned with his historical stats. The other 3 guys haven't blanked in their upcoming fixtures just yet. Palmer returned 10 points at home to Fulham in his debut season, but the goal he scored was a penalty. Haaland's delivered output in both of his starts at home to Everton, and funnily enough, that 13-pointer was a 12:30 early kickoff last season as well. Isak's record versus Villa at home has started really brilliantly. He recorded a brace in his only league start against them. Isak fails to impress in midweek home matches. A 60% blank rate suggests unreliability, and his double-digit haul rate is way behind all of the other 4. He has only started 5 games at this kickoff, but with 3 blanks in those 5, I'm just not really seeing any signs of explosivity. Isak's first midweek double-digit haul did come this season, so there could be a little change of guard in terms of his return trends. A goal and an assist against Liverpool, but without those other positive indicators in his kickoff profile, it does make him hard to recommend. Palmer looks to be the clear standout. I mean, he's never blanked a midweek home match, and from his points history, just looking at it, I mean, it does indicate that explosive potential that was missing from Isak's data set. But to caveat though, Palmer does have the least amount of games played, and I am expecting Palmer's midweek data set to regress as the season goes on because his stats are pretty inflated because of the 2 20-pointers. If we look at Salah, he's played the most midweek home games, by the way. Out of the lot, he's played the most, delivering 3 hauls in the last 5, with just 1 blank in those 5 as well. And also, if we look at his return rate, 1.2 return rate, that's really strong for Salah. Usually he's sitting around 0.9, 1 GA per start, so 1.2 is a definite sign for explosive potential for sure. And he's also boasting a 41% double-digit haul rate. And considering he does have more than 5 starts in his dataset, he's the only player on this shortlist to have that in this category. It makes him much more impressive than the other 3 guys because they haven't started more than 5 midweek rounds at home. If we look at Haaland, he's a little bit similar to Palmer in the fact that he's only started 5 and he's yet to blank at home. So he hasn't blanked a midweek home game yet. It could be the time this weekend. His whole rate is just a touch behind Salah's at 40%, which does suggest explosivity. And away from home, Haaland has always maintained a pretty good midweek record. So I can comfortably say that Haaland does have that positive bias towards these midweek rounds at home. Jumping into the game time comparison, and once again, Palmer has a very small data set. The 3 o'clock kickoff at home is one of Palmer's most preferred game times. He's returned 2 or more GA in all 3 starts at this kickoff time. So definitely a green tick for Palmer cap in 18. Haaland's got the early kickoff, as you know. He's done pretty decent in them so far, returning in 3 out of 4 starts. His only blank at home was against Brentford in his debut campaign. Haaland's points history is nowhere near as impressive compared to Cole Palmer, and away from home, Haaland's half 12 kickoff stats are pretty bad. 3 blanks in 5 away starts, so no clear signs of positive bias towards the early kickoff for Haaland. Salah will start much later on Boxing Day, 8 p.m. start, and his stats at that kickoff might not look that appealing off first glance, but if you check out his form across the last 5, his points history across the last 5, 8 p.m.s at home, he's averaging almost 10 points per start. He's also returned 2 double-digit hauls in 5, and he's blanked just once in his last 5. The last 8 o'clock kickoff Salah started in was actually this season versus Villa, where he got 14 points. So I do believe Salah has that explosivity, and I have more trust in Salah's dataset because he has a higher number of starts in relation to his upcoming kickoff, which makes me more comfortable in the reliability of his kickoff numbers compared to the others. It's Erling Haaland and Palmer projected to play the most minutes on Boxing Day. Palmer's on 88 minutes projected. He'll have 1 less day of rest compared to Haaland, but he has got an extra day of recovery from 18 to 19 with Ipswich away on the Monday, so I do think Coley's minutes are pretty secure for this week. Haaland has a pretty short turnaround from 18 to 19, but I still expect his minutes to be good because just, Pep needs him. Literally, they're in such a bad patch. And also with the 5 rest days, I do think his game time is secure for Everton. If he does miss out, it's probably very unlikely that he does come on the pitch. He's probably getting the full game off. So if we look at Isak now, Isak does have a pretty strong projected minutes for Gameweek 18, 86 projected minutes. He does have an extra day rest after 18 going into 19, and he's had the joint most recovery time with 5 days. So it's looking good from this category for Isak, but I'm just not too sure about him overall. Now, you shouldn't be too shocked to see Salah with the lowest projected minutes. I mean, he does have Leicester, and he also has a 2-day turnaround heading into 19 like Haaland. Taking that factor into consideration, along with the fact that Leicester are an easy team, and also Slot has options for rotation like Harvey Elliott and Diogo Jota. Both of them are fit, and I expect both of them to be used against Leicester. I'd be really shocked if Salah hit 80 plus on Thursday, but he can do the damage in 75 minutes against this Leicester City team, which is why if we head into the Game Week 18 rankings, he gets the top spot again. Look, it's just a no-brainer with Salah, man. He's just in amazing form. Okay, his kickoff data all round is not the best, but he did return double digits in his most recent 8 p.m. kickoff, which is against Villa. His double-digit hold percentage is in the low 40s range, which is really high for Salah. Usually he's a 30-35% kind of guy. But taking into account, obviously, his recent midweek form, taking into account his Boxing Day record as well, which is really good, and taking into account the fixture and how good that is from a targeting perspective, he's just a no-brainer. So he will get my armband for 18. There's no chance in hell, by the way, that I triple captain him. You need a perfect landscape for a single game week triple captain, and 75 minutes projected for Salah is not enough for triple captaincy for me. He's also got a double game week coming, highly likely to be in game week 25, which would be a double of Everton away and Wolves at home, which is very tasty. So no triple captain for sure. I'm saving it for the double, but if you want to spice up your Christmas, then feel free. He is in a great place right now, and who knows? Nobody knows what kind of form he's going to be in when that double does come. But for me, I will wait it out. Wildcard captain for 18 is Haaland. Super low EO, which does mean that he will gain you big time if it does work out. I just don't really want to captain an attacker, central attacker against his low block Everton. It's just not really a fixture I want to target. So I'm not really too hard on him, but he does have a good historical record against them for sure. He's also never blanked in a midweek home game, and he's only blanked in 1 in 4 early kickoffs at the Etihad. So still some hope if you are looking to back Erling Haaland. Completing the top 3, we've got Isak in 3rd and Cole Palmer in 2nd place. If I really wanted to take on Salah, I'd only be comfortable doing it with a Palmer cap. Coley's been super explosive in midweeks. His 3 p.m. record is absolutely insane on top of that. His last start saw him return that 25-pointer against Brighton. So the kickoff time is there, the kickoff day is there, the minutes are there, and the explosivity is there. My problem with Palmer is the fixture. Fulham is on the verge of being a targetable fixture for this midweek round because they've got no depth after Sanderberg and Lukic, but it looks like Marco Silva is going to rush them both back in time to be in the starting lineup on Boxing Day. So it looks like a great fixture for Palmer, but it could also just be a tough fixture for Palmer. So with that uncertainty, I'm going to stick my armband on Mo Salah for Boxing Day. Isak, he's got 1 goal in 1 start on Boxing Day. It's decent. He's had a good start, good record there, and he's returned 2 GA last time he faced Villa at home. But I do respect Aston Villa's defensive spine. Konza, Pau Torres, Onana, Emi, Martinez. Combine that with a lack of explosivity in Isak's historical kickoff stats, and I just don't believe he has enough explosive potential for a Christmas captaincy. If you've enjoyed this one, then drop a like. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Peace.